What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the corner. I got a couple of video game news related topics today. It's nice to be talking about video games again, and I can't state this enough. Cyberpunk 2077, I almost said Final Fantasy 14 because it's on my gourd, still has a lot of potential. It really does. As evidenced by, in spite of all the warnings by Sony, it was the most downloaded game in June. It just is a juggernaut. People still love CD Projekt Red, still love the game. And as somebody who was I purposely pre-ordered it from GOG so that they would get the maximum cut. I was there on day one, preloading, played it for a little bit, and decided that I wanted to wait. Now, because I have a decent rig, it was, probably more cutting edge at, last year, but I didn't really have any major gameplay problems or glitches. It ran relatively smooth, but what I was disappointed with was the AI and much of the missing features that I felt like should be there. Then the feeling that they were coming down the pipeline made me say, I'm going to wait. And so maybe I'll get into it later this year when they've patched everything and they start to add some additional content. I think that would be a good time. But Cyberpunk 2077 is getting roasted again for its by the numbers campaign. This is via Paul Tassi over at Forbes.com. There has been effectively zero real Cyberpunk news for a while now, outside of the game returning to the PlayStation Store, where it topped the download charts last month. Players are waiting for any signs of life about new development in the game, including promised free DLC, next-gen upgrade of the game. Both said to be coming out before the end of the year after lengthy delays. I actually don't care as much about the next-gen upgrade because so few people actually have the next-gen stuff right now that it's like less of an issue. I want less bugs. I want more things to do in the game. I want the real open world that, I thought we were going to get. Anyway, so instead, Cyberpunk is posting more or less filler on its social media timelines, alternating between brief bios of random Night City characters, but also Cyberpunk by the numbers. That shows off different, mostly meaningless stat about player activity in the game. You can see so far, players have spent 6.36 million hours in Character Creator. That's over 13 times more hours than Johnny Silverhand's digital construct has spent in the Relic. Since Cyberpunk 2077's launch, Victor has earned 147 billion euro dollars thanks to the generosity of players who decided to settle V's debt. With that many eddies, Victor could afford 12 billion, 250 million Burrito XXLs. That's a lot. It's whatever, but fans have now started mocking it in a way that reflects Cyberpunk's broken promises and missed potential at the nearly 900,000 member strong community on subreddit. Their subreddit has, turned against them long ago. There's still some loyal supporters there, of course. So you see some of these here. Cyberpunk by the numbers. 0 bullets fired from player vehicle in the open world. Cyberpunk by the numbers. V has modified its appearance 0 times. Cyberpunk by the numbers. 0.0% of players have ridden on the subway. Not all zeros. We also have Cyberpunk by the numbers. 100% of players completed their life paths in under 30 minutes. 30,000 disappointed fans, including me. I'll probably buy this game again in a year. This is Cyberpunk by the numbers. Over 30,000 refunds. This is what fans do when they have nothing else going on. And now that we're in July and there's still not even a whiff of information about when Cyberpunk is planning to even release information about what's in the upcoming DLCs. Those trolling the Epic Game Stores for potential information about Cyberpunk's future believe they've discovered a massive 38 gigabyte patch coming in the next few weeks, but I'm not sure how reliable that is or what it might even contain. Apparently, placeholder DLC information that used to be there has been stripped away, so it's unclear what's going on. CDPR is working on the game, that much is clear, but they have never ever communicated their plans or timelines up front, so fans are left to guess when and what patches are coming. Many are hoping the free DLC addresses at least some of the issues in the memes, like player and car customization, but nothing seems guaranteed at this point. And you see, of course, players can't stop roasting the numbers or roasting these, marketing campaign. Of course, it is all good-natured fun, good-natured teasing, though many of the comments on these posts are genuine stories from frustrated fans who are still disappointed in the state of the game. I understand the project was ambitious, but the broken promises and the actual delivery accounted for a huge letdown, one Redditor wrote. Been almost a half a year, and they are nowhere near fixing their existing problems with the game, let alone adding missing features in, another wrote. Shows just how unfinished the game actually is. And when you think about it, just how brutal that is. I mean, you're talking about a game that, was delayed multiple times. It's been almost a year, and there's still numerous problems, which I think would tell you that the game probably needed another, not one, but another 2 to 3 years before being released. I think that would have freed it from the chains of having to, be backwards compatible on the core PS4 and Xbox consoles. But that's saying a lot that we're this far in. We're in July. Like, I have a feeling this video will be my worst performing video of the day. That's how so many people have moved on from Cyberpunk. It does feel like a general consensus is still one of disappointment and contempt towards the game. Many posts still populating the subreddit still consist of bugs, memes, and discussions on whether or not Cyberpunk has a future as a viable game. Despite all the hard feelings towards the game, that hasn't stopped it from making a return to the PlayStation Store and somehow topping the June charts after a mere 9 days. Well, I think, again, people still love the idea of this game and they want to play the game that was promised to us. I don't think that that's unrealistic. You have important notice. They have users continue to experience. They have still this big warning, and then that official pessimism plus bad word of mouth and a Metacritic aggregate of 57% does not appear to have dampened interest in the game. According to their update, Cyberpunk was the top downloaded game in PlayStation 4 in both North America and Europe, beating out GTA 5, fine, that's been out a million years, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Again, all these have been around forever, but it's despite only being available for purchase for 9 days. This is concerning to me. I know I made the mistake, and a lot of other people did too, in pre-ordering this game. I think even if you're one of the diehard, I never had any problems with it, I think we can agree that lots of people did, okay? Maybe you had a nice clean PS4 or an original Xbox or, and I don't know, or Xbox One X or whatever, and you didn't have the same problems that everyone else did. But there are a lot of problems with this game. And dang it, gamers, like, you're buying it now. Why are you buying it? We all know. It's unexpected, but perhaps not shocking. Cyberpunk 2077 was a buggy mess at launch, and the scope was more restrictive than CD Projekt Red's fans were expecting, but it wasn't a fundamentally bad game. As James said in his comprehensive review, it's a pretty good RPG, an amazing setting, absolutely sick with bugs. In June, shortly after Cyberpunk's return to PlayStation Store, CD Projekt Red declared that the game was at a satisfactory level of stability. And while that's a far cry from declaring a job done, and CD Projekt Red's CEO Adam Kaczynski promised that the work will continue, it does indicate that a foundation is now at least reasonably solid. Digital Foundry testing found that to be largely the case. While it's still far from perfect, Cyberpunk 2077 now performs better and is much less prone to crashing, even on a base PlayStation 4. And the fact that, CDPR did the work, I think should be, noted. I'm not going to thank them for fixing the buggy mess that they, paid for, but I think it's worth noting that they could have thrown in the towel. They didn't, they could have, I don't know. They could have just moved on, and clearly they're still working hard at it. Are they working hard enough? Well, that's up to individual gamers, but I think, by the end of this year, I'm going to be excited to play the game. And I'm not going to care that I waited a year for it. I've had a backlog anyway. I'm back into Final Fantasy 14. So, I can wait. Now, they have my $60 or $70 or whatever it is, which sucks. I should have bought it, now when it's 50% off. But I had to learn my own lesson. I talk about not pre-ordering all the time, and I did it to myself. So why would I be mad at anyone but me? Another possible factor in Cyberpunk's popularity is that owners of the current release will get a free upgrade to next gen for PlayStation 5 when it comes out later this year. Again, this is a nothing advantage to me, or a nothing feature to me. I don't play games twice. Maybe Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been kind of thinking about replaying it, but this is a small percentage of the community that is going to play this game twice. Most people are going to play it through once and then never again. So the idea that I get a free upgrade when I finally get my hands on a PS5, I don't know how big of a deal that is. Nonetheless, I wish the best for the Cyberpunk fandom, and I wish that things would be moving faster from CDPR. I mean, it's been almost a year now. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.